Hey folks, Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. How y'all doing out there? So, this a little different setup here. As you can see, always I got my we made it. In case y'all haven't seen or whatever else, got the plaque here and my book Getting Dollars from Dirt is right behind you all. So it's here, folks. This is Chase Inc. So I've talked to you all about this before. And anybody who's a business owner, you're always concerned about capital funding. We talked about that before. You might have seen the video where I've done before about my issues with getting funding, having capital as a business owner. A lot of businesses talk about, they buy a lot of debt, they own debt. You see Robert Kiyosaki talking about how much debt he's in, and billions of dollars of debt, that everyone is so happy to be in debt. Everyone's so happy to own debt, and debt is supposed to be a good thing. I don't know in society why debt is looked at as a benefit when the definition of debt is owing someone else, is being indebted to someone else, being responsible in another person. It's almost like they own you. And I don't mean that in a way of saying like pejoratively, but a lot of debt is not good debt. A lot of debt, I don't even know, can debt be paid off for most of the people who are considered wealthy, most of the people who are considered to have money. And again, everyone counts income, but no one counts debt. When you zero out, debt and income, is there income left? Is there profit? And you can look at it at a global scale on the United States and see their spending, it costs us, we owe the money, the debt, that the national debt we owe as citizens. Our children owe that. Your grandchildren, they're able to calculate debt, how, because it won't be paid back. It's like 5 generations that have to pay on that debt to pay back what they're spending now. They're spending into the future things that are not happening. And when I go to a place like banks, this is the ink card. I've done a video on that before for Chase Business. I haven't opened this yet because I wanted to open this on a recording so people could see, what it takes and the problems I've had with just trying to get good business funding. Now, Ancestry Lands, this is for Ancestry Lands, and I'm going to open it now. I mean, it comes in a very nice box. Like it's almost velvet, honestly. And it does say Philip Davis, Ancestry Lands LLC. And I have other cards too as well. And this is Business Premier. As you can see, Business Premier. So, when I'm at work and the nurses are talking to me and, I just got a business and things like that. No, Ancestry Lands actually has a business bank account with multiple banks and business credit. We're trying to get loans so we can move into, I can't even open this thing. I don't even know how to get this out of here. But I've applied for this credit with my bank because Chase Bank is one of the most conservative. It's very hard to get loans from Chase Bank. It's very hard to get funding from Chase Bank. I still can't open this damn thing. So anybody getting the Inc. Premier Business Card, I hope to be able to tell them how to open this damn old card. But any which way, I'm going to say it now. I mean, it's something that, okay, I think you just push from the back here and the card comes out. Yeah, okay. So you push from the back and the card slides out. So here's the card. I'm just going to hold it up here. Actually, on the front, it doesn't matter because all the information's on the back. Here's the card here. And again, I know there are going to be people, he's bragging. I don't give a shit about what you think. Honestly, I'm done caring about whether my family, friends, co-workers gives a shit about this. It takes hard work to get to this point. I don't care if you think I'm bragging. This is a damn accomplishment. This is me celebrating my family, the support from my children, the admiration for my children. Damn, this card is heavy. This card is actually heavy. It really is. It's heavy. And the ability when I do go out, I went out to the firing range to do some training with a coworker of mine. Everything went on a business card, one of my many business cards. Do I leave the business cards with high values, high expenses? No, I pay them off every single month. Ancestry Lands is a business that runs profit. Now, The profit that we're running is akin to some people's annual yearly salary, and profit is what happens after all the expenses are paid. Now, I told you all before in another video, Chase Bank, there's a difference between credit and loans. The banks will give anybody credit because there's a loan, the bank has to be responsible for those loans. It's either a non-recourse loan or a recourse loan. We'll get into that. This video is not about that. But what I'm saying is that as a business owner, there is a difference between someone who has an online hustle, side hustle, and there's nothing wrong with that, and establishing long roots, longevity. When I say generational wealth about land ownership, there's a business structure where you need to have actual capital, the ability to establish credit when these banks report to give you your paydex score, and the banks, their ability to trust you as a client. Now, what are the balances? It's probably about 20,000 right now. I did not get the 100,000 that I wanted, but the whole point of it is that you start somewhere. Now, the goal is with these credit cards, business credit cards, you need to be in a position where, and that's why I tell you about having profit. You need to kind of, when I say max out, you need to make sure you can put some heavy balances on this card, but you also want to be able to pay them off. One thing that I've learned is that whatever the card limit is, you want to almost go up to that top and you want to immediately pay it off. Okay. It's not about paying off the interest. It's about paying it off so that way the banks can say you're utilizing the 80, 90% of the credit that you're allowed. So let's just use even numbers. 10,000. If you're using 1,000 and you say, hey, I want to get to 20,000, they're going to say, well, you're only using 10% of your actual available balance. 10,000 is your balance and you only spend about $1,000 a month. They're going to look at their algorithm and say, you don't really qualify for an increase in your credit limit because you're only using 10% of your actual credit. You never go to 9,000 where we would see you're having $9,000 a month expenses. You're charging it up and paying it off. Your business needs say that we need to give you more credit. And because you're paying it off at that amount, we can double it up because if you have a $20,000 credit limit and you spend $9,000, you've been paying it off enough where we can give you that credit limit. And again, Chase is the more conservative people out there who do lending. Their requirements are very strict. Now, it comes in this box, and again, I've shown people that there's a circle behind you, just push the card through because I could not get this out of me for the lifetime of me. And again, I just opened this up. I don't do a whole lot of gaslighting and things like that. Then they also send you, which I won't put on here, your Premier card has arrived. Okay, I'm going to just block out my some information here. So as you can see, I don't gas up. I don't lie here. It says right here, the limit for Ancestry Lands, 15K, as you can see that, which is very good because I work for that. I work for that number to be able to be my starting number with this bank. And I have other accounts that have 20, 30,000. They see a whole bunch of brochures and bullshit like that. Card member agreement comes in there. Terms of service, you need to make sure that you understand your interest rate too as well. And then guide to benefits. Now, some of the cards, you have to pay the balance in full. So you need to really be considerate of what type of account you're choosing with what card. And that's where reading comes in. At some point, you still do have to read. And the reason being is that when you start going up and spending on these balances, you don't want to get the card rejected or declined or taken away because you don't understand the terms of your card. I chose the Chase Premier Business because I wanted the ability to pay off the balances, sometimes maybe not in installments, because as a landowner, I have good months and I have bad months, low months and high months. And I don't want to ever get myself in a situation where I'm going to be spending 10 grand and I have to pay it all back, but I have other obligations that I have to pay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody starts somewhere, okay? And that's one of the bigger things. Why I say that is that there's a sense of achievement being able to get these cards. As business owners, you need to definitely understand that your history and relationship with the bank, you have to be able to have a good relationship and the bank wants their money. Okay. This is a heavy, anybody have a chase? Just tell me the weight of this card. It feels heavier than most cards. That's one thing I have from it's like it's daggone metal. But again, one of the things why I went with Chase, because I have Wells Fargo, I've got Capital One, for business. One of the things with Chase that I wanted to do was Chase is so stringent that if you can make it at one of the harder to get companies or banks, then everywhere else you can build on. And it depends on what your goals are as a business owner. So when I say that is that, how did I do that? Well, owning a land business, one, I could show yearly profit. Every year I was able to build profit. I think the first year I was like 10,000, maybe 15,000, and I kept building. The goal wasn't to become $1 million profit. The goal was to keep building year after year after year. It became first doing the land business, then going online, selling property, then, actually structuring an LLC, then doing the social media, then writing a book, my book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing. It is on Amazon. You can get that book. The link will be in the description below. Ancestrylands.com is where you can go and get property for yourself. And having property and owning property, it's allowed me to qualify for so much more, such as in a mortgage. Right now, I have a mortgage that I can qualify for $750. Years ago, when I was starting out in the land business, because my income was limited, it was just on my W-2 job, I was not able to qualify for the same income that I do now because I have land income. When you own land, you can do things with land like lease it out, rent it out, have people grow food, crops on land. There are a lot of things you can do with land while it's sitting there just being dirt. And people miss that. The whole point is that you can buy land from Ancestry Lands and also own that land in a very short time. There's no interest, no credit checks, $250 a month, and you can get started on your business plan, getting things set up so you can find use for your land. In a climate like California City, one of the beautiful things about California City is that California City is high desert. So a lot of, the soil is dry, sandy. It's a very aerated soil. And in California, a lot of crops grow out of California. People think, well, it's just desert. Well, Vegas is in the desert. And you have most of the Southern California region is desertous. And you have avocado farms growing out of there. You have walnuts. A lot of nuts come out of that environment. That you can do things with that property. With the fires going on in LA and the city destruction that's happened, you have a lot of people looking at these outskirt areas, and an influx and a flood of people are coming. Your job is to get ahead of it by owning land from Ancestry Lands right out in California City. The other thing is too about this, and I'm going to touch on a few points, the whole anonymity thing. I have tons of business partners that I'm in other business trying to do joint ventures with, and everyone wants to do a state where they have anonymity. Well, with the BOI, the Beneficial Ownership Information that was passed, where all small-time business owners have to go and register their information, which I've done on any business that I've owned, that I've done it for. After 2025, this year, you don't have to do that because they'll already have your information when you register a business in the state. So essentially, the whole anonymity is gone, especially if you have to go to a bank. When I got this card, I had to fill out a form. My social security number was attached to it. The BOI information, the bank knows who you are. They know that you own the company. If you own more than 25% of a company, you're going down on that BOI form. You have to fill that out, or else you're not getting credit, you're not getting loans, you're not getting money. You have to go through a hard lender if that's the case. So the whole point of the anonymity is just pretty much garbage at this point. The other thing you need to consider is that sometimes it's better to do business in your own state. I live in Pennsylvania. The bank is in Pennsylvania. So when I go to my bank and I'm looking for information, I'm a resident of the state. My business is registered in the state. It makes it easier for me to say, hey, I'm looking for local funding because I work in the area. My work history, a lot of things are attached to that. So that's something people don't understand about businesses, is that a lot of your personal credit is going to be used to start until the business becomes its own self-containing entity that has access to capital and has access to funding, whether that be from investors or seed capitalists, or you get loans from private entities and organizations that are not attached to a bank. But when you go through a bank, a lot of that social security number is going right on that information. And they're going to look up state registries to see how your business has been in business, the health of your business. So a lot of your information is going out there anyway, which doesn't make sense that you're looking for anonymity, but you got to fill out a BOI information. I'm the sole owner of Ancestry Lands, and 100% of that information, it all goes out. They know. So again, they say, well, the banks have it, but then someone else can't. Not until you get sued, and then someone goes and the bank gets pulled into whatever court case. A judge in a legal case can summon your bank records to say, hey, who's the owner of this information? And the bank will just give it up. They got no loyalty to you. They don't want to get caught in a lawsuit if you're doing something. So again, it makes the whole point of you being a legitimate business that can show profit a better value to you. So I'm going to say to all young people out there, does that mean that there's an uphill battle? Yes, there is. But you got to have the will to win to get the things that you want. There's no way around it. There's always challenges in life. I'm doing this video now and my kids are out at camp. When my kids are home, the youngest kid wants me to play cars with them, Hot Wheel cars. The other kids want me to watch Squid Game with them. There's always never any time. As soon as I sit down and want to do work, the kids want me to play with them. And if it's not that, my wife wants me to do something. There's always going to be obstacles and hurdles, big and small, that are going to get in the way of you being successful and you trying to get somewhere in the business. So do not look at it as what you're facing is a hurdle. There are going to be many more once you get through. And again, there's something, when I get this, it's not a brag moment. This is something that you got to be responsible with. This is not something that you can go around, and that's what people think whenever you show something that you've accomplished. People always see you go to and brag, but they never see the work that you've done behind to get, all behind this to get to this point. I didn't get this because I have Ancestry Lands. I got this because I've been working for years on developing Ancestry Lands. And when they go online and see the YouTube channel, when they see the website, when they see Facebook and they see my name pop up, that I'm an author of a book, those things start to resonate. And there's a judgment, a decision that is made outside of the algorithm when a person talks to the other person that approves it at the bank and says, hey, I think you need to go ahead and approve this. This is a good client. And my personal banking is also with Chase Bank, where they're looking at my banking history with them. I've got years and the accounts have commas in them. So that helps them to make an informed decision. And maybe while it's not as high as I wanted, I went for 100,000. They gave me 15,000. And I'm sure that was, they're trying to protect themselves. Now we're in an inflated economy. So of course they're going to give me as little as can be and try to raise up the bar from there. They do 100,000. They know I may never come back and ask for a credit limit increase. So they rather seem like a better bank to give me 100,000 in a year or two rather than give me 100,000 right off the bat. And I mean, again, I'm not coming in there with $1 million accounts. All right. I sell land for people like you and I that are working and all our income is going towards everything that we need to live. I'm not selling it to millionaires. I'm selling it to people who probably have to work an extra shift to pay for something else. And land is something that they're looking at as an opportunity to get into real estate ownership because they own a house, but the house is something they need and they can't sell the house to give their kids real estate without needing a place to go to themselves. So owning land is a way for them to give something a head start to their children, which is the same reason why I own land. So I'm going to leave it at that, folks. I'm going to let you know this is achievable. This is something you need to go after with your banks, but you got to be a good banking client in order to do that, folks. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands. Don't forget my book, Getting Dollars for Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, is on Amazon. Links in the description section below. Salute, 100,000 right there. You guys see the plaque, Ancestry Lands. Remember, you can go to ancestrylands.com and get yourself some property because you want to own property or you'll be owned as property. $250 a month is all you need, folks. Phil Davis, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. You can go to ancestrylands.com to start owning property today. With payments starting at $250 per month and no credit checks, owning land has never been easier. It's time to build your land portfolio, one property at a time. We help you get dollars from dirt and build generational wealth via small plots of affordable vacant land. Contact us to learn more. Speaking of dollars from dirt, I also wrote a book about investing in land for you readers out there. My book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, is available on Amazon. The link is in the description section below. Inside, you'll learn simple, easy-to-read insights that will have you understanding why you should own land today. For more tips and resources, subscribe for updates, comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
And remember, like and subscribe.